Welcome to a new iRacing series created by Foxxtecca and made possible by Apex Racing League. A new championship where competition is tough, prize money is secondary, and the main attraction are the drivers. This is the league where performance meets entertainment. You can see drivers from the top of their games, as well as those individuals who want to break through the silence of being unknown. You've got exciting names like Andre Castro, a real-life NASCAR X-Infinity driver, and Rob Holland, a multiple record setter at Pikes Peak. But among these names sits one of our own, Nick De Paula, driving the McLaren entered by VGTR Esports. Will Nick be able to compete with the top dogs throughout the season? Let's find out. But while Nick prepares for the qualifying, let me introduce you to the structure of a weekend. This is a one manufacturer only series, meaning everybody must drive, in this case the McLaren 720S Evo. Nick has a 10-minute open qualification to set a lap time. This position will decide where he starts in the first race as usual. However, this is where the fun begins, as there is a second race. The results of the first 8 people to take the checkered flag will then be inverted for the second race. So not only you have to be fast, but you also need to be able to make passes quickly as well. But enough of me yapping, let's see how Nick does in the quali. At 2 minutes 16.8, a great lap by Nick, which was good enough for P8, which is out of 36 I believe, that's commendable. Going right after some fellow Hungarians, which is always good to see, but we are not here for them right now, are we? So let's get this race underway. We immediately get a position as Zane bogged down just a little, just enough for us to slip through. And then going to turn 1, Zane is still alongside as Gregory slips into the outside. And then going 3 wide as we touch with Zane. And that compromises our exit down the straight. As we go towards Rouge, we're trying to slip into his slipstream to maybe overtake him after the Camel Straight. But it is lap 1, so naturally everybody has a slipstream of some sort, so it will be a hard task to do. And also we have to glance back into the mirror because Zane will no doubt try to take back some positions. So Nick must defend as we go into the first chicane. Everybody tries to be as tidy as they can, not to lose time from the guys ahead. It seems like it will be a good lap 1 without any incidents. And I spoke too soon. Let's see what happened. So these guys going head to head into turn 5 and 6. Oh, and they don't leave enough space for each other. Number 83 spins and then gets collected. But we don't get to rest in P8 either, as Nick just drops the wheel into the gravel trap, slowing him down for 2-on. So Zane gets the opportunity once again to go and stay alongside, but the outside is not an easy place to overtake, so Nick has to go into defensive once again, as Zane tries again on the outside, but there's just not enough grip, and also it is lap 1, so the cold tires don't help either, as he also drops down to the gravel and loses a position. On to lap 2, on to the next lap. We are being pressured by Andre Castro himself, but we also need to keep up to not be vulnerable into the straight. But as soon as I say that, P7 in front, Thomas's internet has other things to do than play iRacing. So fortunately for us, we get a position, but now we do not have slipstream. And on to lap 4. Andre's patience has run out, so he tries to make a move. Nick decides not to defend this time, because he knows the outside for the next corner becomes the inside for turn 6. But Andre didn't start yesterday, as he holds it on the outside and just pushes Nick onto the gravel.
Just behind them, Andre Castro, by the way, has got past Nick De Paula, so Castro up into 7th place. He's made good progress since the start of this race as they go alongside into Bruxelles, and Castro gets his elbows out, and this could get worse now for Nick De Paula because he's alongside Zane Smith. Don't think Zane's going to get too much fruition from out there, has to back out of it, and now he's looking behind at Cameron Brown, but into Pouon, it's very tricky to overtake corner. I think they'll all remain single file.
In single file we did stay, but not for long, because look who's behind us, trying to make our day difficult.
But the McLaren is a good-looking car, as we see in a move here into the bus stop chicane. De Paula on that outside line becomes the inside for the second part of it, and a spinner in the background that's caught up.
Thankfully Zane spun himself out on that one, so we are just out of slipstream, and the given task ahead, try to reel in Andre. Nick is doing a really good job keeping up with him, but still just not right on his tail enough to make a move. But he's fearlessly trying nonetheless. Little bit later down the road, we meet a familiar face, or rather ass I should say.
Look how they mess with my boy.
Man, this is what has happened to him. So he was in a fight. Oh, one of the lead cars is off. He squeezes up the inside, and the gap just wasn't there.
And one of the Hungarians without the rear wing, so that is 2 positions for us, thank you very much. And in addition to all that, we finally caught up to Andre to try and make a move. But he says not today, as he is defending really hard into turn 5. And ultimately keeping the position. On to the last lap then, we are trying it once again for the last time, and Andre knows it all too well. So he goes to defend. Nick knows what to do next, but unfortunately he can't get alongside in the braking zone. There is one more opportunity for us to overtake on the back straight, but sadly we are far too behind to make anything stick. So Nick stays P6 at the end of race 1. So here we go again for race 2, and again immediately Zane just doesn't want to start the race. And we are gifted that position up into P2, even before turn 1. But that's not gonna last too long. As we are heading into turn 1, David locks up just a little, so we cannot go through the throttle early enough, and we lose instantly 2 positions as we try to tug back into the slipstream. But the guys next to us just had a better exit from T1, and so one of the pros pushes us off the track. And the highest rated driver on this league also gets ahead of us. We just have to keep our heads down and hope for the best, staying with the pack. which is not an easy task when you have two pros ahead of you, but Nick definitely has the pace to do so as we jump a little bit ahead, riding on the hood of Balázs behind us, as we see Nick going onto the gravel, losing that position, and unfortunately Zane is just behind us, so he can hunt us down also and get that position. And believe it or not, it is still not over.
Wedstead here though, P9 at the moment on the back of De Paula. He's got Torchio and Soto just behind him. That is Torchio having a look up the inside, nearly contacts me in towards the bus stop chicane, and Soto gets a watching brief, and the best seat in the house. Has that all unravelled there?
So yeah, that just teaches you what happens when you make a mistake on a straight. But on lap 3 we meet with the former leader once again. Let's see what happened to him.
Yeah, he's just about doing enough. Was that a slowdown?
Slow down. Yeah.
Oh no, there's contact. Toth goes round and he'll be at the back now of this lead train. So it was so odd because it seemed like Castro slowed down a lot. Maybe he cut Lecum a little bit too much because he was lifting off so early, and it looked like it was just going to be Toth easily going around the outside, but no, it wasn't.
Love to get a replay of that to see who actually made the contact with Toth there, down into 8th place. Remember, Toth in race 1 had no rear wing towards the end of that race. That's what gave him the pole position in this race. He's back down to 8th, having a great battle with De Paula now, and Brown on the outside.
Nice move from Nick on the outside, but you already know a straight is coming up. So getting close to the last chicane, Nick is going to lift just a bit, because he knows David is faster and the race is still young, and so that opens the door for David to dive down the inside and take back the position. We jump ahead quite a bit to lap 12, because honestly, in the past 20 minutes nothing happened. Everybody played the long game, waiting for the right opportunity to come, and we've just now caught up with Balázs and Alexei. This must have opened Nick's eyes for a possible position, because Nick did it again. Dipping a wheel over the curbs, and that opens up the chance for Russell to slip through, which he does. So we are down to P9 from P3 with 3 minutes left on the clock. And Nick knows the clock is ticking, so maybe he can try a dive into the last chicane, which he does quite aggressively. Almost going into the back of Russell, but to everyone's surprise, Russell goes into the pits. But wait a minute. Isn't this a sprint race? Then why did he go into the pits? Whatever, must have underfueled. Oh my god. So at the end of the next lap, without wasting any more time, Nick also comes into the pit lane to fuel up his car for the last lap, with Balázs right ahead of us. And so, with the fastest pit service time I've ever seen in endurance racing, we are off onto the track once again for a last lap shootout with Balázs. Luckily, everybody miscalculated the fuel targets, so out of the whole field, basically there were only a few guys who didn't have to pit in this race, and somehow we even gained a position while pitting on the last lap. Which, yeah, we could have gained even more positions if we didn't pit, but we take 3 positions any day nonetheless. Luckily, with the help of the slipstream, it seems we are getting closer and closer to Balázs, so we are on his tail after the Camel Straight. And by looking at the Hungarian's driving style, he seems to just edge away in the corners, but then in the braking zone, Nick always closes the gap right away, as you can see right here.
Having a pit for fuel on the last lap is crazy.
And looking at it for the second time, it may just be that Balázs underfueled his car on the last pit stop, so that's why he's slower in the braking zones. See here as well, he lifts quite a bit, so Nick can get alongside him on the outside and take the position. But Balázs will most definitely try to fight back on the straight, so Nick will have to defend with his life on this one. And sure enough, Balázs tries a move on the outside, outbrakes himself, cuts the corner, but he knows that's an illegal move, so he gives back the position to Nick. And at last, we take home P6 again, after the most chaotic last 2 laps of a race I've ever seen. A solid first round by Nick, but this was only the first round of an 8 round season, so stay tuned for the rest of it.